All right, let's talk. I'm carving pumpkins the other day with my girl, her sister. My girl was like, hey, I gotta go. I'm about to take my sister home. I'm like, okay, see you when you get back. My girl leaves, she takes her sister home. So I'm sitting here, I don't watch TV, so I'm like, what am I gonna do? I knew we were gonna watch a movie. So basically in my mind, I'm like, hey, I have to entertain myself until my girl gets back. So what am I gonna do? I'll write, because writing is my favorite thing to do. So I go out on the balcony, I'm writing, and all of a sudden, there's no music, there's no sound, it's nighttime, it's like 10 o'clock. All of a sudden, I hear a couple arguing. So of course, I'm nosy, so I'm like, all right, let me listen. So I'm listening, ear hustling. He goes, every time we get here, you trying to go to sleep all early, and then you got a bad fucking attitude, so I don't even know what you want me to do. She goes, instead of cursing at me and telling me when I'm not and getting out the car and just walking away from me, why don't you get out the car and come over here, open my door, hold my hand, give me a kiss, hold me, do something like that. Then by this point, they walked past the building, so I couldn't hear anymore. I don't have the whole story, but I started thinking about it. Why is this argument happening? What's the root of it? More importantly, what's the solution? This is something that I see a lot in today's generation, and I'm just gonna go ahead and give you an answer and a solution. As men, we have to be better leaders in our relationships with our women, period. Men are trying to tell women to stop having an attitude, stop acting like a bitch, stop acting like this. This is the stuff that we're saying as men. And I understand. Sometimes it's very hard to deal with a woman who has a terrible attitude, who doesn't want to communicate effectively, who doesn't want to be accountable for herself, who doesn't want to listen to other alternatives, who only has a fantasy of how things should go in her head, and she refuses to listen. I know, I've dealt with that type of woman before. I refuse to deal with that type of woman again. To you fellas who point those things out, you're right, we'll give you that. But there's something much deeper that as men we're not doing. We tell a woman to not have an attitude, but then we tell a woman to communicate with us. Her having an attitude is her communication. See, what us guys have to understand is that our women are much more intuitive around their feelings, around being connected to things. That's why a lot more women are empaths. That's why women can be empathetic. That's why a woman can feel your struggle. She can embrace the emotions that you're going through when she's not even going through. Women are meant to feel things deeper than we are. Women are meant to feel vibes and energy deeper than us. So when a woman has an attitude, her internal system has been jarred. And now she's not operating at her normal baseline of who she normally is. She has an attitude. Maybe she's talking louder, or maybe she's got a little extra jazz on whatever she's saying. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it wrong. As men, who are we to tell a woman not to have an attitude? Instead of a grown woman, let's think about your 3 or 4 year old daughter. Your daughter that has a pacifier, and now you're trying to get her off the pacifier. And every time you pull it away from her, she cries and throws a fit. You gonna tell your little daughter, don't have an attitude? Is that really how we're gonna talk to our daughters? So what makes us think we can talk to our women that way? It doesn't work. See, as a man, what you and I have to always understand is that manhood is about leadership. Manhood is about leadership. If you're in a relationship, you lead that relationship. And part of being a leader is conflict resolution. If your girl is copping an attitude, that means there's a problem. We call that a conflict. So if you are a man, which you claim to be a man, that means that as a leader, because manhood is about leadership, we must go ahead and we must find strategies to resolve conflict resolution. So instead of calling names to a person that is basically making a plea for help, because if your girl cops an attitude, that's a plea for help, a cry for help. That's a cry to be understood. That's a cry for expression. So stop putting these women down and telling them stop copping attitudes. And when your girl cops an attitude, listen. Because if homie was listening last night, he will understand. His girl actually said, get out of the car. And don't walk away from me. Because think about it, when you walk away from your girl, that's showing you don't give a damn about her. Don't walk away from me. Come over here. Open my door. Kiss me. Talk to me. Okay, a lot of you fellas have pride. And you wouldn't walk around and open your woman's door. And that's the problem in 2016, is that as men, we don't get up and we don't open our women's doors anymore. That's the problem in 2016. We don't call our women just to say good night, but we'll sit up all night commenting and being thirsty online, but we won't call our woman just to say good night, baby. That's a problem. You and I as men have to get better, period. We have to get better. If your woman has an issue, instead of saying that she has an attitude, go grab that woman, look her in her eye, chest to chest, hip to hip, eye to eye, and talk. Baby, I want to understand you. What's going on? Talk to me. Take your time. And if you don't feel like you can express it right now, maybe we can talk about it in an hour. Maybe you want to write it down so you can get your thoughts together, because I know you're feeling a lot right now, and maybe your feelings aren't gonna allow you to express it in a healthy way. Maybe you're gonna be a little bit too much for me to understand, baby. There's nothing wrong with telling your woman that you can't understand the way she's communicating because she's too emotional right now. It's all about how you do it, fellas. If she's too emotional, just tell her to write it down. Or just tell your woman something like this, because I deal with an emotional woman all the time. And this is what I tell her. Babe, I know you're going through a lot right now. Take your time, decompress, think about it, feel it, go through it. And when you're ready to talk about it, I'm here. Just let me know. If you want to write it out, I'll read it. If you want to talk to me, I'll listen. If you want to just text it to me, we can text a little bit, but no matter what, I'm here for you. So let's just figure it out. So instead of being punks and having all of this pride, as men, let's get rid of our pride and understand that we are the leaders of our relationship. And let's look up conflict resolution. And let's be the type of men, as a group, let's be the type of men who can resolve problems within our relationship. Let's be the type of men who will lead our problems so our girls don't have to get attitudes with us. Let's be the type of men who will lift our women up instead of putting them down. Let's be the type of men that will lift up other men who do value relationships and true connection. Let's be the type of men who take pride in leadership, who take pride in our relationship, who take pride in communicating when there is a problem. Most of the time, your girl tells you what the problem is. Most of the times, if you listen, she also gives you the solution. Go open her car door, grab her, kiss her on the forehead, kiss her on both cheeks. Tell her everything is gonna be okay, because it is. Give her that reassurance, because every woman needs that. If you're a man, you know that. Manhood is about leadership. Lead your woman to a place of safety, all right? Thanks. Peace.